So recently, I was looking for two things. One was this pen, and one was this cap. And I found the cap, and I found the pen, but where's the rest of this part? I'd like to know. Where did that go? I moved it here on my desk. Let's do this. Let's take all these pencils and just get them out of my way. Let's take the brush, get those out of my way. So, did that help me at all? So I just fixed a wherever. Hello, KB. I just fixed a wherever by borrowing, stealing, taking the filling system out of this perfectly good Parker dual fold. No, I took the button. No, I took the whole thing. I don't know what I took. Anyway, I ended up fixing one of these things. Now, where is... Somewhere I have a thing, and I don't know where that thing is. I don't even know what I'm talking about. This guy is coming by tomorrow. Hello, John. I can't see what your name is here. Are you the guy from Germany? Vintage fountain pen, John something. Anyway, let me just see if I can find that. Waterman. Drives me crazy. London, England. Have I had you visiting me before? I can't remember. Would you like to be a live visitor on my very own thing here, or what? Is it here? Is the pen I'm looking for in here? No. No, no. Well, anyway, I've got the bottom to this somewhere. I don't know where it is. So I do have a sack to put on this pen and a sack to put on another pen. The guy that gave me pens to fix, I was going to take this pen as payment for repairing. The other pens. But one of the pens he wanted me to repair was this one. And he didn't like the way the nib wrote on this one. And because he's a lefty. And I was thinking that, well, any lefty would love a Schaefer. They're always so lefty friendly. So maybe I'll just end up giving him something else or taking something else from him in trade. How's that for a plan? What are your thoughts? I hate my phone. I take the phone, I put it down, and it automatically thinks I want to delete an app. Like delete pictures. Why would you think I want to do that? Just gonna make this a little smaller. So other than John from England and KB from wherever KB's from, I forget. Who else is in the room? There's 6 people. Identify yourself. Please. Or not. Up to you. Okay, this is repaired. Yay. I can't fix the snorkels. I'm not going to fix the whatever they are, the Vacuumatics. And he wants one of these 51s from me in trade for from India and from Catalonia. Is that what it says? Catalonia. And he likes broad nibs, so I bet this is the one he's going to want. Is this a 51 special? See, these 51s are all burgundy. You didn't want black. Now this is a weird 51. Well, you can't have that one. This is a very weird 51. This is a late... The hell is this? A late one with one of those things. Adapters. So we can have one of these two. Are the barrels interchangeable? That one fits on that one. I bet this one won't fit on this one though. Oh, it does. Okay, good. So one's a 51 special, one is a 51 proper. This one he can't have. That one goes back. So, John from England, would you like to join me live? I bet he's going to like this one. I'm going to fill this one up. I just want to give this guy a choice. A 51 and a 51 special. Well, a 51 special essentially was a cheaper model. They used to tell them differently by the top. One had a pearlescent, the 51 had the pearlescent top, and the 51 special had a black top. The 51 special also had a steel nib, not a gold nib. So they were sold cheaper or cheaply. And that was really the only difference. And because it's a 51, there's not a big difference in how they write, whether it's a gold nib or a steel nib. 51s always take a long while to get them going, to get the ink that's dried up in the collector moving again. So these are his choices of what he's going to get if he wants either one in trade for the pens that I cannot fix. I'm going to put this back because this is what I'm going to say. Why don't you take this and trade for the repairs rather than the other thing? Now this is the one that I fixed for him. I have not put a sack on it yet, but I can in a minute. I put a dual fold pressure bar thing because the pressure bar that was in it was broken. So I'll put a sack on that, but he may prefer this one. I might say, do you like this nib better? In which case we can just, he'll trade a brown one for a green one. Same pen. Essentially, same pen. So I'll fix that when he gets here. Done. Okay. I live streamed with you and Frederick about 10 months ago, having a smoke. Okay, good. And the goat girl, what the hell is your name? Where's my loop? I can't see a thing. Here. The goat girl, CR, LYP, I don't know what that means. There are, whether it's better or not, it's hard to say. I believe the plastics were the same when they made the 21s. The plastics are shitty, and they're awful. But I'm just thinking that I don't see them as being very different. I sell them differently. If I have two to sell, I'll sell the 51 for more than a 51 special. But in terms of how they write and how it will function for you during the life of your pen use, I don't think there's a big difference. Well, the 21s, it's like they made two different kinds of plastics. One cracked and one didn't. And you can't tell by looking at them whether they're good or bad. The better 21s look more like a 51 than the 21. Let me show you the difference there. If I can find an example. Hold on. God bless. Okay. When you see a 21 that looks like that, where the grip thing looks like the 51 grip thing, they tend to be better than the other ones. The other ones look like this. The interior metal band is fatter, wider than the outer bands. When you see them that have the fatter band, they're generally shittier. Also, some 21s, Super 21s or whatever they were called, looked like a 51, whereas other ones looked like a 21. This is what the 21 feed looks like. And the 21 special looked like a 51. Now does this say 51 special or does this say? Doesn't say a damn thing. Now often they will crack right here. There'll be a crack right along here, and you're going to be writing with them, and your hands will be all inky, and you'll say, "Oh, how did that happen?" You go wash your hands, you take out the pen, you write with the pen again, and your hands is all inky. So how did that happen? It's because there's a crack. Now this, God, they just made so many different versions of this. Here's a 21 with that looks like a 51 that has the wide band. Is this one broken? Let me just look. Is there a crack in this thing? I don't see a crack, but I bet if I fill it with ink, my fingers are going to get inky. That's my prediction. So I just filled this with water. If this works, I'm gonna put it in my for sale bin. I bring these things to the pen show once in a while, and I end up filling them with ink and realizing only then that they're broken or cracked. So far, this seems to be okay. I do have some of these things filled with ink near my desk or near my phone or wherever. Near my phone. My phone's always with me. This seems to be okay. Well, what do you know? Let's see. Does this one work as well? See, this is all screwed up. Oh. Oh, this is all just fucked. Throw that in here. Never mind. What is this, a 51 special? Another thing that sometimes you see are where the shell has shrunk. Someone maybe tried to heat it or boil it in water for some reason. And sometimes it shrinks. Sometimes it doesn't bother the way the pen writes at all. It still writes, it works perfectly fine. It's just that it looks ugly. And I'm all for using the pen even if it looks ugly. You know, I look at myself in the mirror every morning and I think, what the fuck happened to you? Well, age, weight, trauma. I'm not as pretty as I used to be. And but I still can do a drawing once in a while. I'm just going to try these two out, make sure they're working. Let me see what else do we have here. See, here's another one that's really warped. really shrunk. I wonder if this will even work. And I wonder how this happened. Did someone try to apply heat to remove the section? This is very scratchy. Don't like it. Okay, someone tried to take a pliers to take this thing apart. So again, it looks ugly, but does it work? If it works, it'll be fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, these are all sitting right here. I'm just going to play with these for the next few days, and if I notice that they're cracked and causing my fingers to get inky, I'll throw them away. I'll put them in a broken pen pile. But if they work, these again are pens that are, they do 99% of what a 51 can do. This is a beautiful one right here. So if someone wanted a 51 but didn't want to buy a 51, buy a 21. And the 21 that looks as much like a 51 as you can, and you'll be okay, I think. No, the barrel can crack too, but a cracked barrel will not make your fingers inky. The inky finger part comes from a crack in this part. There's no way that ink is going to get back here. Now this pen looks as if someone in their zeal pressed down a little bit and the nib has bent up a bit. That sometimes happens with any pen, but I see it a lot with 21s. I think people sort of, when this pen was being made, ballpoint pens were also being made, and when they would skip, you just press down really hard on them to make them right. And you press down really hard on a fountain pen and you'll break it, or you'll bend the nib. So now, if this really bothered me, and this was the last pen that I owned on Earth, and I wanted to try to fix it, I might try to bend the nib down a little bit with my nib pliers. But it doesn't seem to interfere with how it writes. Okay, now this one has a little chip at the top. And does that bother the way it writes? No. And what's wrong with, oh, this is completely clogged. So I'll just soak this in water. Maybe it'll get unclogged. Well, finding broad nibs on 51s or 21s is not easy. The way the nibs are made, they sort of have to come out of that little tiny hole, and it's hard to get a big fat nib to come out of that little tiny hole. Okay, I think this works too. So if all of these end up working and not leaking, I'll fill them up with ink, keep them around my house, and use them. Now this is just really ugly. Ooh. See? How did that happen? Like this is a pen that only Per Gustafson would love. It's like really bad. But if it actually holds ink and can deliver it to the paper, and I could put this next to my couch where I write down what I need to do during the day, that's okay. I can go there. How's that? Okay, I can't see what people are writing here, so. An incident, yes. I do have an original broad 51 nib somewhere in my life, and it is really quite neat. In looking for my wear-over that I could steal the parts to fix the other guy's wear-over pen, I found this one in the drawer. And, you know, every once in a while, by accident, wear-over made a good pen. Their plastics were kind of cheap. Their nibs were kind of cheap. Plastics were kind of cheap. Did I say that already? Their design, almost every design they had, they stole from someone else. So there's that. If that kind of thievery bothers you. Then you would be bothered by Donald Trump changing the name of the Kennedy Center to the Trump Kennedy Center. That's the same sort of, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just stick my name on it. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just steal this idea that someone else had. I know what I'll do. Is that how that worked? Could someone explain that to me? One of you people out there in TV land that voted for Donald J. Trump twice, can you explain to me how that one action that he just did? First of all, he doesn't have the power to do that. That belongs to Congress. It doesn't belong to the president. Learn how the separation of powers works. What do I have here? What the heck is this? Senator? Do I have any other? Here's a wherever. Here's a wherever. Yes. Schaefer made cartridge pens that were made for calligraphy, really big, broad nibs on their pens. The Schaefer calligraphy set, or whatever they were called. The Schaefer No Nonsense cartridge pen came in a calligraphy set, so you could get a really broad nib on those things. No, I have never done any welding. If this Weariver was the only fountain pen I owned in high school, I would have thought I had gone to heaven. This would have thought, oh my God, this is amazing. I would say to myself. Take that off. Should I put a sack on this pen? Should I make this work? Yeah, you like it when I make it work, don't you? I bet you do. As an associate in welding, I might about experimenting. You know, I don't know anything about metallurgy, and I know that there are people that do create these magnificent looking nibs that are just gargantuan, monstrous nibs that have 9 tines and all of that sort of nonsense. But you have to be pretty damn good. You have to learn how to make it work. Damn it. And, you know, I'd say practice with broken nibs. but that's only going to teach you maybe what temperature you need to weld at so the gold doesn't melt or whatever you're doing. And then once you get really, really good at that, then you can decide to work on a real nib. The 9 tines pen, it looks like a checker. If you looked at it looking straight at you, looks like a checkerboard, tic-tac-toe board. Looks like that. So here's the nib. You're looking at it head on, and it looks like that. And it's a monstrous nib, and it looks horrible. It paints, it writes, it uses lots of ink, and I don't know, I would think you could get the same degree of thickness using just a nib that has 2 tines. But let me just show you what the nib looks like. Okay, where is it? Reaching Ralph. That's one of his things. Reaching Ralph. He makes magnificent nibs, and for X, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nibs stacked on top of each other. So looking at it head on looks like that. Now, what you get out of that, I don't know. You get a big fat line when you go horizontally. I tend not to like pens that you have to hold in one particular way to make work. Here's one that has 5 layers. I hope I will see him in Philly when I go there next month. I thought he had moved to Providence, Rhode Island, and he was here for a pen meeting that we had, and then he stayed here overnight one night, and we had a nice time doing a live broadcast, but he never got back to me, and yes, let me just look. Reaching Ralph videos. He has done videos, but I don't know where you find them. Reach out to Jesus. That's not helping me. Let's see if I can find one where I did a live video with him. So let me just look under Pierre Gustafson Ralph. Playing with Ralph. So if you look at this video, you'll find he and I chatting. and
space where ink gets caught
Trapped,
trapped in this area, and it can make contact with the page to begin
so we're
flowing with
so we're
capillary
talking about baby's bottom there.
He had this beautiful Schaefer.
So anyway, there's a video where he and I are talking, and he uses some of his pens, and he tries out a lot of my pens, and was very amazed at the Franken pens, or not the pens that I make, but the nibs that belonged on Victorian dip nib, gold nibs. He had never really played with them before, and he was amazed at how springy they were and how fine they were. And for me, the fineness is more important than the broadness. It's easier, I think, to make a pen that's fat. It's harder to make a pen that's fine. I have to get some lunch in me, I think, so I'm gonna say goodbye now. So goodbye, everyone. See ya.